She's like, if you got a problem with her, say something to her. You ain't got to talk to her like that. Calmly say something to her. Don't mess with Harmony. I just walked past Harmony and kept walking in the house to put my stuff inside. And I was like, Harmony, why did you talk to that woman? I was like, because then I felt like I had to defend you. I knew when we pulled up and I saw the woman outside sweeping. She looked in the car, was looking all in the car to see who was in the car. I knew she was going to do something. And we got out the car, and the woman started screaming at Harmony. Demon, straight demon, just screaming at Harmony for no reason. And I said, oh, you were right, Lord. When I first told Pastor Tim, same spirit. Same spirit. So I can't get mad at anybody else here or anybody else around me. You see, understand where I'm going? I can't get mad at anybody else around me because it's the same spirit. God says same spirit. Different body. Same spirit. I said, Pastor, when I said same spirit, I meant it's a different body, obviously. They had to remember, no, it's not so obvious. It's only obvious to me because I went from Jonathan Street up here. And so since that was not resolved down there, there's going to be a situation that have to be resolved up here. Or I was going to have to learn. What was it that I was missing? That ingredient. Here we go. Humility, right? Up until now, we talk about the good kind of humility, or the good kind of humility, the good kind of person that needs to be humble, right? It's kind of hard for us to picture Job not having humility, but he did not have it. Why? Because if he did, here's the thing, if he did, then it wouldn't have hit him so hard when his kid died. It was Eli. Eli was not affected when his kid, he was affected when they lost the Ark of the Covenant. They said, your sons died, and he just was sitting there like, okay. He said, what of the ark? They said they took the Ark of the Covenant. Oh, and then he fell off the stool and broke his big fat neck. We didn't get prideful, but get prideful about the right things. Job did not have pridefulness about God having a hold on his kid's life. Job had pridefulness about having kids. He did not have pridefulness about God having a hold on his kid's life. He had pridefulness about kids. Why did I say that? Because pride goeth before a fall, and a haughty spirit before destruction. Job was not destroyed. Those children, their lines behind them, destroyed because they were haughty. How do you party while your father's in the temple? That takes a haughty spirit. In the temple making sacrifices for you. It's not that you were there the morning of, and y'all came home and had church party. No, you just partying all day and let him make sacrifices. Pride goes before a fall, and a haughty spirit before destruction. Job fell. Not from grace. He fell because he was prideful, thinking that he could make sacrifices for his kids. And then the kids were haughty, and so they were destroyed. But Job was not destroyed because his line continued, right? The kids almost snubbed their noses at God because they knew they were sinning, right? Because here's the thing. Before the father would know I'm sinning, I would know I'm sinning. Before my dad would know I'm sinning, I know I'm sinning, right? But if he in the temple making sacrifices, he knows. So it means it's been some sinning. He know, and it's enough for me, enough for him to know. Therefore, I know and he know. By the time they get to him, both of us know. So that's the Holy Spirit. Let's look at it again. Saul and Jonathan and I think the kid's name is Abinadab. I think it matched David's brother's name. I could be wrong, but I think it matched the middle one of the oldest of David's brother's name. Because see, there was three brothers, the oldest three brothers, right? We're going to get there. So I think it was Jonathan, Abinadab, and Malchishua. I think that's the kid's name, Abinadab. I'm not sure, but Eli and Saul suffered the same fate. They were destroyed because they had all the spirit. What happened? They both thumbed their noses at God when they heard, Saul heard over there again, change. He's supposed to get his life together. Change. Now you're rejected as king. Then he started chasing David, the new king, the one he thought was going to be the king. He started chasing David. What if that was going to be the new king? What if it was supposed to be somebody else? But he was chasing David on a whim. He was right. But he was chasing David on a whim. And God kept prodding and poking I said it. I heard the walk this morning, and I said it when he walked into the witch at Endor's house. She reminded him of why he was there. And when I say she reminded him of why he was there, she reminded him of why he was. They had to come all the way out to see her, and they were not in the city of Israel because he had put them out. And so she reminded him and said, "Remember, Saul put us out." She did not know that was Saul. Saul put us out. So at that moment, he was reminded why he sent her away, which means he should have walked out the house and said, why would I think to do something like this? I sent this woman away because she is not godly. And I'm going to seek an ungodly thing, the thing that God called ungodly. That's a thumb in God's face. Why do we know it's a thumb in God's face? Because prior to that, we can have 2 weeks, right? He had been inquiring of the Lord and did not hear anything. Because he did not get a quick answer back. So fine, God ain't gonna give me my answer this way, I'm gonna go and get it another way. And he thumbed his nose at God. Eli had been told over and over and over and over and over again, get your kids together. He would not. So Eli thumbs his nose at God. Now here's the thing, Saul's kids did not thumb their nose at God. But because Saul did it, you connected to him. That's it. There's 2 examples where it says a haughty spirit goes before destruction. See, pride goes before a fall, but a haughty spirit before destruction. Okay? I don't want to be destroyed, but Job did not have a haughty spirit. But he was still prideful, right? You can lack humility, right? You can be prideful and still have humility in certain areas. The issue is God is asking us for a totally dedicated, spirit, right? Where we are humble. And Pastor Tim got it right. He said, what is being humble? Being a slave. When he said it, being a slave. And I know I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I was like, cool. And he said, now some of you may not like that I said that. I'm sitting at home like, if I had been in church, I would have done the same thing. But I'm sitting at home like, wow, why would we like it? It's the truth. Being a slave. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Because remember the prayer that I made 3-4 years ago. I said I want integrity and suffering, integrity and compassion, integrity and patience, and integrity and humility. I said that. I told God that. Pastor Keith was like, Jamie, you don't have to say things. Like, you don't have to say things all the time. Like, you have to say things. Because sometimes you don't have to say things. If you say things, sometimes it's going to come and you might be upset. But you said things. You don't have to say things. Basically, he said, Jamie, are you crazy? Why'd you ask for that? Pastor Keith was like, Jamie, you must be out your mind. You asked for a concoction. I want integrity, in humility, in patience, in suffering, and in compassion. And what God showed me, I don't know where I rank on the compassion scale. I don't think it's that high. But where I do know that I've already learned about patience. I have. A lot of people want to say, oh, she's stomping, it's crazy, or do this, or do that. No. I'm being very patient with her. I'm never talking, when I get upset, I'm never talking about Lindsay or to Lindsay. That's easier to say it that way. I'm talking to Casey. I don't blame Lindsay for what she does. As a matter of fact, to be honest with you, I have to give her credit. Because if I did what Lindsay does and got away with it, she's feeling her oats. She's been traumatized and abused. Here's the thing. Nobody's ever loved her before. So if she comes across and she's like, okay, I can abuse this girl and do whatever I want to this girl, and this landlord will boost me. That's awesome. Let's just be honest. Like, anybody that suffered any type of trauma, of course. Because not only are you going through pain, but you're in a position where nobody cares about you or nobody takes to you. And something about Lindsay struck a chord with Casey. And honestly, I couldn't care less because the more I think about it, it makes me want to barf. Because I'm also not one for, unbalanced scales. That's not just. But I couldn't care less, I don't get mad at Lindsay, though. Never mad at Lindsay. You can't get mad at a 2-year-old for behaving with tantrums and things of a childish nature. She's wetting the ceiling again. Why would I get mad at her? If I'm not mad, I'd be angry here all the time. My eyebrows would be furrowed all the time, and they hurt. Like they'd be hurting all the time because they be stuck in the same spot. I look like Groucho Marx. I don't want to do that. I don't look like Groucho Marx. I get mad at Casey because I give Casey credit for having sense. I'm being honest. It's not to be mean. I can't take my problems to Lindsay because first of all, Lindsay's causing it, and secondly, she's getting away with it. So I can take my problems to Lindsay. Because my thing's always, it's like if you call Walmart and you talk to somebody, right? And then they're arguing with you about why Walmart is right and why you are wrong. After a while, you're going, wait a minute. Why am I talking to you? You're not my rebel. I just want my money back. I couldn't care less. Give me your supervisor. I started considering Lindsay as a human about 4 or 5 weeks ago on a second ceiling. She's a human in the point of where she lives. But as far as I'm concerned with the bathroom and the noise and different things like that, I can't get mad at her. And I'm going to keep it that way. I said, God, am I stupid? Because I keep blaming Casey for what Lindsay's doing. But yes, she put her there. And I kept hearing in my head, she put her there. She put her on top of you. That's a condescension. A true condescension. I'm not going to, I can't, why would I come? You had a 5th grader in school. Nathaniel, her son, is so adorable. Because he said he's 10, right? So he's got to be in the 5th grade. He's the one doing the stomping. Literally kicking the walls, and I know she's telling him to do it because there's nobody that can kick and stomp and punch walls and do what they're doing for, I counted, each time it's been like 12, 13 hours straight. She's telling him to do it. But I'm not going to go to Nathaniel, bang on their door, and then I'm going to go to Nathaniel and say, Nathaniel, you gotta stop doing this. I would actually have to look down because he's shorter than me. If Satan does something to you, are you going to go to Satan? Satan, you are such a stupid thing. I mean, he is a stupid thing, and I enjoy saying that to him. But not when he does things. More often than not, when Satan does things, it's been a Satan-ridden week. Satan-ridden week. He still lose. I don't even talk to God about it. Okay, what are we watching on TV today, God? Because God knows my heart. So any talking about Satan that I do, God said be very, very careful because this thing is trying to cause you anxiety. And while you are causing it anxiety, while you cause it anxiety, it causes you anxiety, you lose. Because it's daddy revels in anxiety, pride, anxiety, and insecurity. I'm going somewhere. Stay with me. I'm using myself and laying myself down. So that way, at the end of next year, if I'm still at the same place where it's causing me problems, I can't function, I get so frustrated, right? Because when the stomping is that loud and it's shaking and everything's shaking in the apartment, I'm thinking, oh my Lord, something else is going to go in my eye. It's crazy. I told them something was going to go in my eye. They did not listen. It went in my eye. Stomping loud, oh my Lord. It's not just stomping. They're just trying to put their feet and their face through my part. They're trying to interject themselves into my life through the ceiling. And this is not just stopping. But this has been a problem since I was young. Please stay with me, right? I told you I'm not blaming them. I have no problem with Lindsay. None. She has a problem with me. So she constantly attacks me. But I have no problem with Lindsay. Maybe that's probably in the way when I got sick. I may have thrown it up, barfed it up, but I really don't have a problem with her. I don't. But somebody doing all those things to me, right? I said it. I told the Spirit, I was like, Holy Spirit, I've been dealing with this since I was young. I can't take loud noises. I can't take somebody tapping me on my shoulder. They haven't done that. But there's certain things, OCD type things, and certain things that just really make my mind go left. Like my mind comes out of me. I said, what if, Holy Spirit, you are trying to exercise these things that really, everybody has certain things that make them bonkers, like they just can't handle it. What if you're trying to pull those things that would make me bonkers out of me? So I could work for your glory, right? So that nothing would distract me. So that no weapon formed against me will prosper. What if this is what you're doing? Now when the stomach is really bad, like yesterday about 3 or 4 times I had to take my face and hide it in my shirt. Because I don't want any more plaster in my eye. My eyes are big and it's stuck to my eye. So what if this is God's doing? As marvelous in my eyes. What about reproving the patience point and the suffering point is where they really test my limits by doing things to me, right? Just doing things at me, even while I'm sick. And now everybody's on their side. I'm alone, right? I've got Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, but they don't know the things that really drove me crazy, just drove me up a wall when I was young, where I punched my cousin in the face because she tapped me on the shoulder. Joey, we were in school. I told you guys, he tapped me on my shoulder and I said, don't tap my shoulder. I turned around, he tapped me on my shoulder again, I punched him in the face. And my red sundress, I had to take him to the nurse's office in my red sundress, but I was crying harder than he was. It doesn't matter myself for getting upset, but there's certain things I cannot handle. This is one of those things. What if this is going to give me some integrity? But I said, Holy Spirit, they don't understand how this drives me crazy. You're right, Jamie, they don't understand. Because if they did understand, they would come behind you and say, "Aw, I'm so sorry." And would turn integrity and patience into pity. They would turn integrity and suffering into stupid, right? They would turn integrity and humility into humorous. Integrity and compassion into just, I don't care anymore. I can't take it anymore. They'll change the meaning. Integrity and suffering into integrity and sick, right? They'll change the meaning of everything you're going through. What if God is there? He's taking you back to your youngest age, the things that just really drove you crazy, the things that you never got rid of. I mean, I don't suck my thumb no more. I don't chew gum no more. I don't chew gum at all. They used to get mad at me in school because I always had a piece of gum in my mouth. They would tell me, take it out, spit it in the garbage can. I would dig it. As I was walking away from the garbage can, I would dig in my pocket, take another piece out and put it in my mouth. I always had gum in my mouth. In high school, until they figured out there was that oral fixation thing. What it is that they don't realize that this is not just I hate this thing too. It's really a mental issue. Like she's really going to put you in an institution if you're not careful. And you're being careful. I'm saying be careful and being confident. And you being careful, understand that it's time choosing to build you up, building you up in the most holy faith. And you being careful, understand that you ought to be confident. You could be confident. When this is done, you'll be able to be confident. That when you say, I'll let nothing separate me from the love of God, you mean it. Then the world will know you mean it. Why? Because of what I'm going to take you through. But if you don't do it right, See, integrity and humility, what you must understand is when Pastor Kim said you have to be a slave, that's why Pastor David is so humble. I'm so mad, but I'm. But yes, the dad is humble. The dad is super humble because he's super gentle. Or he's super gentle because he's super humble. Or God said humility is gentility in the fire. It says, when I walk through the fire, you'll be with me, right? Person that's gentle goes through fire out of it, because the person that's gentle, Job was gentle, but he's also prideful. He had not developed humility, right? It's sort of like a fruit type thing, because there's a development of it, right? He had not developed humility yet because he was so prideful. He was gentle, but he was prideful because he thought he could do it for his sons. There's something about being able to give it all over to God and say, God, you know what? I'm trying to master this all year. God, I really can't do it. It's impossible. We're going somewhere, and you may not understand it, and you may not like it, but I'm telling you, if you could do with me, oh, it is snowing, y'all. If you could do it with me, and we could get this thing, we could rock this, we could rock humility. Something about being able to say, God, it is impossible. Remember, I told you Pastor David said it before he went on vacation. He said, Jamie, trying to do it on your own, you will get frustrated and you will be angry a lot of time, because check it out, it is impossible. So yesterday, when I started to get angry, right, and frustrated, I was really frustrated about something being able to do something else in God. And I said, wait a minute, Pastor David just said, trying to do it on your own, you will end up frustrated. I said, God, I don't matter. It's not. And I think Miss Linda misunderstood me, because I was also very sick when they were there stomping and doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. And so when I started my therapy, right, I was also very sick, and I was upset. And I was upset at her. And I think I thought about it after last night. I said, wait, did she think I was saying I don't matter? I was. But not the way you would think. It's not a self-esteem thing. I mean, come on, y'all. It's not that I got self-esteem like that. I got self-esteem on top of self-esteem. No, but come on, I just got in the museum. So why would I be suicidal? Or this has nothing to do with Miss Linda. Miss Linda has no way of knowing. But when I'm saying this, when I say I don't matter, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of Eli and Saul, right? Because when you think about it, their lines, both of their lines, right? And it happened around the same time. Around the same time, both of their lines were discontinued. And then I went Rob and think got it. He's like, blurred lines, right? No blurred lines. This ain't blurred. It's discontinued. Because if I got that humility, right, the line will keep going. I just have to bring myself in order, right? I have to bring myself in order so that God, there's no blurring with it. We can see the clear lines, right? But that's not what happened with Eli and Saul. Their lines were discontinued. What happens when God takes my line and puts a period at the end of it? And it's not impossible for you to have a line that doesn't have a period, right? But didn't Rahab have a line that didn't have a period? Absolutely. Jesus is in Rahab's line. Jesus is in Bathsheba's line. Now, the Bible don't talk about Rahab sinning, but the Bible talk about Bathsheba doing a whole bunch of sinning, whole bunch of it. She had a big bunch of sin. Her and David. She was Bathsheba's on the roof, and the David was like, come on down here. And she got up, took her loofah and her rubber duck. He said, come on down here, bring that loofah and that rubber duck. Come on down here. Let's talk. So they had a party. They had a rubber duck party. And that wasn't an Ernie rubber duck party either. No, rubber ducky, you're the front one. You make bad time lots of fun. No, Bathsheba made bad time lots of fun for David. Anyway. But Jesus is in her line. Leah. Ain't Jesus in Leah's line too? Yep. She was a big fat sinner. Judah is a big fat sinner. He's a big fat sinner. Onan, and Maserati. I don't know the last one name. He did have another son, but he's trying to make sure that Tamar ain't get nothing. Whole bunch of sin there. Even with sin, he could, yours line may not have a period. It may continue, right? Even with sin. So what qualifies Eli and Saul to get a boot period? What happens when you look at my line and you see boot, a period? They had a line and it was going, right? On the priestly line, that was Eli. And Saul on the kingly line, that was Saul, right? And he was the first king. And Eli was the second to last priest. Prophet. No. He's the second to last priestly prophet that ran things, right? Because after Samuel, priestly prophet, there wasn't a priestly prophet system where they were running things. Why? Because then they introduced the king. So after Eli, right? There was Samuel who ran things as a priestly prophet that reigned alongside Saul. But what caused their lines to stop? That just tells me pridefulness is not the exact opposite of humility. Pridefulness is not the opposite of humility. I thought, okay, if I'm going to be humble, I can't have no pride in my life. So every time I say something that's prideful, I'm just, oh my Lord, I'm going to just yank my hair out. No, that's not no. We ought not to live in the negative, but to thank God for the positive. So it's not every time I say something prideful that I rip my hair out. Because I want to boast in the Lord, right? Joy of the Lord is my strength. I want to boast in Him. So boasting is not bad in God. But if I take all boasting out, boasting leaves. I'm going to take anything away from myself. Everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. So I have to be very wise and very careful how I do it. Boasting is permissible, but boasting in myself is not beneficial. And it will cause God to boop, period, in my line. I want to live in a positive. So what does that mean? That means I live humble. That means what God just said. Don't what Jamie? What that means is that it's not that you take everything away from yourself, right? You don't take. Okay, I'm not going to say anything prideful ever, right? So you don't take things away from yourself. It's not that you take things away. What you do is you give all of what you have to God, all of who you are to God. You don't take away from who God made you. You give all that you are, all that you have to God, right? They thought when they had slaves, they would take everything away from the slave, including clothes and life. So put them out in an outhouse, right? With no clothes. Of course they're going to die due to exposure to the elements. Slaves versus winter. Round one, winter 1863. Round one. They ain't going to make it. But taking everything away from a person does not work. If you take everything away from them, if you take things away from me to try to make me live in, right, what I have left, you put me in a state of negativity, and I don't want to talk at all because I feel like I can't say anything, right? Jamie's going to take it away from me. And if I say anything prideful, she's going to rip my hair out. Pastor Tim said, he said, being humble does not mean being the slave, like back then, like slave, right? Like chattel. Doesn't mean that, right? Wrong.